paper or Clat 2023, which commenced from 2 p.m. and got over at 4 p.m. on 18 December, which is today. So I'm bringing to you the English analysis of the paper, and hopefully we will get to see very few errors, and also we will hopefully get to see a good answer key from the Clat committee. So the first passage in the paper was the Kiladi passage, and this passage focused on how this new site has changed what we know about the urban civilization, which we believed started with the Gangetic Basin. But now this new site shows that the Tamil traditions and the Tamil civilization is also almost as old or even older, including the language. And this passage ended in the last two lines about the farmer signing their name on the utensils or the pot, and education not just being limited to the elite. So the first question in the passage, the answer key, the detailed answer key is out, as you can see. So the first question in the passage is the assumption about the origin of urban life in the country, and the origin of the urban life in India before Kiladi. This is given right in the top of the page, on top of the passage, that it was believed that the origin lay in the northern Gangetic plain, and it was the first phase of civilization after the Harappa or the Indus Valley civilization. So this is given right in the beginning, and the passage opens with the central idea that that before the site was discovered, these were the assumptions that we went with. And after the site was discovered and after the site was done, what happened alongside? Like, what myths were shattered. Moving on. The second question. Now look at the central idea and the fact that all the questions are going to focus on the central idea. The Kiladi excavations further challenge the idea of a single fountainhead of Indian life. So now all the questions are focusing on this. Now, single fountainhead of Indian life, which was supposed to be the Gangetic plain and the Vedic scripture, they were also challenged, that it's not as if our life only came from the Vedic scriptures. So the best answer over here says, no, I mean, this is exactly what the central theme is, and this is again written as the answer option for this. So this is with reference to the single fountainhead, which is, this was Vedic life, and then from there everything else was born. So it was not about the fact that different histories and places are discussing this, or the fact that Indus Valley civilization is also incorrect. No, Indus Valley civilization remains. But after that, what was felt to be the Gangetic plain as the origin, and the Vedic life and whatever is given in the Vedas as the life, that was challenged over here. So of all the options, A, which is the most general one, answers this. But it will be interesting to see what happens to none of the above over here, because A is not really wrong, while B and D, C are. So the Kiladi did not challenge the Indus Valley civilization, and it did not say that our history is coming from various places. No, it just said that instead of what was believed to be the Vedic way, that has got challenged. Language, including a script similar to Brahmi script, has emerged. So what did this show? This basically showed the fact that whatever we know of our language and scripts could also be changed after the Kiladi dig. So this is given exactly in the passage. So the passage, the Brahmi script, does not say that Kiladi is far superior. It only says that it was a place where there was learning. And this is opposite of what is stated because people were literate. It doesn't say far superior. So focus on how I am putting the crosses. Then BC is this question is a knowledge-based question. So it's a GK question in the English section, because while word meanings you are expected to infer from the passage, acronyms you are not expected to infer. So this is an aberration for the English section because they have given a word, a knowledge-based question over here. Then we move to the fifth question. Why is it that the author is saying, you don't have to teach me to write, I've learned it already? It just shows that the separation of learned and illiterate people in the country, which is mostly based on elite people who are learned and the others who are not, that is not present according to the Kilari dig. So everybody had access to education. So these are the answers for the first 5 questions. And then we move to the next passage, which is based on the, the water crisis in Delhi. And this is a simple passage that outlines and highlights this crisis and the water mafia that is doing the rounds in the city of Delhi. They are aided by everyone, including politicians, and they illegally send water. So the main concern of the author in this passage is how this water mafia is basically going to aggravate the water security in the country, which is given in the last line. So what can you infer from the passage? While the mafia are justifying themselves by saying that, whatever we are doing is justified, at least we've solved the water problem, but the author does not feel it. The author has said that they are aggravating this situation in the last 3 lines. We don't know about contaminated water. We just know that private truck owners have been hired, and the passage says it, that they are the ones that take the water from the source to sell it. So it appears as if they are playing a very important role because they are the ones that are mobilizing this water, or at least this is the only true thing in the passage. And we do not know whether this water goes to industry or not. So none of these 3 can be answered. Answer will be C. What suggests that this is not recent? Anything which has got its roots suggests it. So answer will be A. Ubiquitous basically means it is everywhere, but does not suggest that it is rooted or it is there for a long time. It just shows the width of this. What is the main concern of the author in the passage? Basically, the main concern of the author in the passage is the fact that these people, for minor profits, are jeopardizing the already problematic water supply crisis. A is one of the concerns, but that's not the major concern. A is the concern upon which the passage is written, and the author shows how the water mafia are making it worse. And the author explains how this is going on. And the fact that it depends on everyone's complicity. So does not depend is incorrect. So answer will be option C. Moving on. All of the sounds that are given over here except creaking. Creaking is for the truck. Answer will be A. Thrumming is for the flow of water. Droning is for the flow of water. Gushing is for the flow of water. So A will be the answer. And hidden means covert. This is you have done many times in the CP mocks. Next, we come to the passage on provincial reading. In this passage, the author talks about belated. One of the key terms of the author in this passage is the word belated. Reading late, knowing about it later. And the author shows how this has been a problem because they are reading things or they're talking about things, or even when the PhD is written, they realize what they're doing now has already been done by someone. So The 11th question over here is a specific detailed question. In this question, the answer is very clearly given, which is the fact that the author sometimes took the books from the kabadiwala. It's not as if the kabadiwala sold the books or the author sold the books. It's clearly given, so we will not spend too much time. If you have read it, you will know this is the correct answer. Next, we go to questions 12 to 15. So let's look at the 12th question. What is the author's is essential about the experience of being a provincial reader? The author has clearly said belatedness. It's not over excited. You can be over eager about anything. The author hasn't accepted the gap. They're just used to it. So the answer will be belatedness, because they realize that they know everything late. And again, question 13 is given. Why was there a sense of epiphany? The author describes the PhD experience and the fact that whatever you think has already been done by someone. It's not as if the author is less well-read or the author missed this big city. Nowhere has this been stated. Anachronistic is a very simple word, basically means out of time. And what captures the meaning of the last sentence? So 12A, 13A, 14C, let's go to the last sentence and read it to see what captures the meaning of the last sentence. In the last sentence, the author says, what rescues this unpredictability of these anachronistic discoveries, the randomness and haphazardness involved, is that in our minds, things are thought about in a unique manner, right? So the randomness in mapping the connections, this is a special thing only these provincial readers can understand. So now, when you read the last lines, maybe you did not understand this, maybe, let's assume. But when you read the options, you will know that, yes, this is what the best meaning of the last line could be. So these questions where you have to explain the meaning of the lines should be answered by looking at the option. So if you look at option A, you know it's incorrect. There's no talk about pretense. But if you look at option B, though the author feels that dated, the author has used this word, because she has not professionalized herself, that means her lack of metropolitan sophistication, she is able to engage with those ideas with some originality. So even though she gets those ideas late, still they are at least original. The author does not have limited knowledge. The author just gets to know things late. So it's easy to eliminate A and C. And once you eliminate A and C, you are able to eliminate D. So the answer will be option B. So meaning-based answers from the lines should be done by looking at the options. Once you eliminate the options, you know this is the best answer. Option elimination is your key, guys, for these inference-based questions that were the main questions in the paper this year. Then we come to the next passage of Indian English, where the author's view and Chetan Bhagat's thoughts, who, according to the author, is a self-appointed master of Indian English. You know, those views have been discussed. So let's look at the 16th question. And we have to give the author's views inference in this answer, not Bhagat's views. So remember to distinguish between the two, right? So according to the author, the ability to speak in English in this country is a matter of your origin, your class, and even your gender. The author has laid special emphasis on gender. So nowhere does the author talk about political lines. C is the view of Chetan Bhagat, not the author. The author talks about gender and class divide. Who would defy Chetan Bhagat's neat categorization? The author has clearly said. The author has read Chetan Bhagat's E1 and E2 thing and clearly said that there can be several types of E1s and E2. So A presents one type of E1. According to Chetan Bhagat, a person who is E1, like Savita, will probably give a good interview. But here it shows Savita does not give a good interview. Whereas according to Chetan Bhagat, E2 will always be subservient to E1. E2 will always be below E1. But here it shows that Moin actually now teaches English. So both A and B will be our answer here. So how has author dealt with Bhagat's views? The author has not really dismissed them, but shown and critiqued them. So the author has critiqued. So when the author critiques something, that does not mean dismissing means humne padhna hi nahi hai, but the author is discussing Bhagat's views. That means the author has not dismissed them. The author has called Bhagat a self-appointed expert, but read the views and challenged them. Therefore, your answer for this will be option D. Right? So these are your answers for the Indian English passage. Next, we have 19th and 20th on the same passage. What can be inferred from Gandhi's views? Of course, Gandhi was opposed to this. So Gandhi did not say that it should not be taught. Gandhi felt it should not be vital. Neither did Gandhi say this. Gandhi was opposed to the fact that English should be thought to be the only thing, but that did not mean Gandhi said that it should not be taught. So the answer for this will be none of the above. And you have to mark a pair of synonyms over here. Stark and sharp are synonyms. Crusade and campaign are synonyms. Sophisticated and spoiled are not synonyms. Cohesion and unity are synonyms. So answer will be option B. So the next passage over here is on the internet and the way the internet has expanded. Social media has expanded, right? And how everything is now on the internet. We were first masters of online. Now we are alienated and we are subservient to online. That's what the author feels. How it is different from real life and how on social media you have to pose. At Clat Possible, you've done plenty of internet-based passages. So I think this should have been an easy passage for all of you. So let's look at the answers here now. 21st. Option A is definitely wrong. Internet expanded fast. The author has used a lot of metaphorical language. Internet can be used to cause harm is not what the author has mainly said, but the fact that internet is everywhere and it has expanded fast. So answer will be C. Then the author uses the word truisms, that we have come out with a set of new truisms. New truisms means simple statements that talk about a fact of life. So A is a simple statement that talks about a fact of life. C is, and D also is. B, I feel, is a regular statement and not a truism, because it just says that, one can analyze you by looking at what videos you watch. So that's a simple statement. A truism is something which is like an aphorism. It's like a saying. It's like a one line of wisdom. So answer here ideally should be B. What comes closest to the underlined part of the passage? The answer for this is C. Let's look at what comes closest. Let's go back to the passage and check it. It's as if we have been placed on a lookout that oversees the entire world and given a pair of binoculars. So that means we can see everyone and then we can basically decide. And this is a method where when we see others, we are able to, relate with them and see them as extensions of ourselves. So what that means is we can see everyone, but the internet streamlines it for us and shows us what we want to see. That means internet has made us see things with which we identify. So while we are looking at everyone from a distance, we also have binoculars. So the binoculars here mean the internet is able to select what relates with us. Hence the answer will be C. All of these are examples of metaphor: the village, the hell, the circus. The comparison is metaphorical. Naturally, it's an analysis, so it's a non-fiction essay. It's not an academic paper. Remember, in our mocks also we told you journals and academic papers will have more typical language, more jargon, more academic language. This is a general essay on a non-fiction topic. Right? Now we move to the last passage, which is a story of Salman Rushdie's. We have done lots of literature in our mocks, and I hope that helped all of you to solve this passage. So if is right, which of the following is true? Naturally, according to if, you have to say things that are not even present in front of you and that you don't even know are real. Right? That does not mean you should only trust what you cannot see. You should at least acknowledge what you cannot see. So the author is saying, don't only trust what you can see. The author is not saying you should only trust what you cannot see. So option C is also incorrect. Naming things makes them real. So the options were so far and wide. D was a simple answer. What does if do? If has been using lots of synonyms for everything that if is saying. For example, look here. Trouble, hot water, mess. So if is talking in examples, in synonyms, using more than one word for the same thing. So answer will be option B. So this underlined part means do not restrict yourself to what you see. That is the central theme of what if is saying. Do not restrict yourself to what you see. Remember, that is why we are eliminating this. That does not mean only trust what you cannot see, but also the fact that don't just trust what you see. All of them are related. Levitate, fly, hover, all mean fly except gander. Now, question 30, I feel both B and C will be the correct answers. Fabulous is something that is mythical. So fabulous in this context means something that is unbelievable as well as something which is mythical. So this was it from my side. We have already discussed the cutoffs. We have already discussed a good score. All the passages were simple. There were one or two questions that are here and there. Answers can go anywhere. For example, question 30, there were 2 right answers. So let's see the official answer key. And then let's see how much we are looking at in terms of a top score over here. Meanwhile, these were the answers and explanation from my side. Have a good day, everyone.